what do we do instead is we offer choices. So for
Mhm.
like my son, I'm always like, an example would be like, okay, so what do you want to do first? Brush your teeth or change into pajamas? Or, like,
Mhm.
oh, I might offer him, okay, we have to cut your nails. Do you want to cut them today or tomorrow?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Abilities Podcast. I am your host, Nick Earhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. All right, everyone. So today we have Jeaneen, and I can't wait for you to hear what she has to share. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, Nick. Thank you so much for having me on today. My name is
Of
Jeaneen
course.
Tang. I'm a speech language pathologist. I've been a speech language pathologist for over 20 years now, and I am also a parent of a special needs child. My son is 11 and a half, and he, unfortunately suffered a traumatic brain injury and a stroke
Mhm.
at 13 months old. So he
Um,
suffers from right hemiplegia, doesn't have
mhm.
any functional use of his right arm or hand, and has some
Okay.
gait issues with his leg because it's weaker than his left leg. His right
Mhm.
leg is, and
Mhm.
he just started having seizures about 3 years ago. So there's a
Mhm.
lot that goes
Um,
on. But I'm a mom and a speech therapist working as much as I possibly can, and also making time to spend time with my child. And
mhm.
recently I wrote a book called Play Dumb and Sabotage to help
Oh.
other people, speech therapists, parents, caregivers, learn about how to work with children with
Mhm.
language development. And it's
Mhm.
strategies I use with my son. And even to this day, I use some of the strategies with him.
Ama- Amazing. And it's hard when you have a child with special abilities. That's what I like to call it, instead of special needs. But uh, at times it can be very difficult. But then other times it can be incredible because I we all have our own unique abilities, and it's just really cool when we start to express our abilities.
Yes, absolutely. He has the best dance moves I've ever seen. He loves Michael Jackson
Awesome,
right now. He also loves
so cool,
AC/DC. So he's
awesome.
like, he loves music, and it's always
Mhm.
great to see him dance. He has that confidence when he's dancing, and it
Yep.
hasn't stopped his special abilities. Hasn't stopped him from playing sports. He plays basketball. He used to do flag
Awesome.
football when he was little. He played baseball. So it's, he does have special abilities, and that's definitely not a disability.
Exactly. I love that. He's not letting his so-called disability stop him. He's just pushing through, figuring out what he can do, and living the best life that he can. And that's
Absolutely.
incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
But I would like to know, as a parent, what would you say is the biggest challenge that you faced with having a special needs child that you figured out how to like overcome?
Oh, there's so many challenges, with his
Hmm.
new seizures and um,
Yeah.
just keeping him safe. I
Hmm.
think one of the biggest things that we've, you know, been able to do is provide him with a good school. He's at a
Mm.
charter school right now, and
Yep.
they provide a one-on-one assistant for him, so it helps to keep him
Awesome.
safe, helps to keep
Hmm.
him attentive during academics.
Hmm.
He has difficulty with making new friends and
Hmm.
keeping that
Yes.
friendship. Uh, and, even though the school is really great about being mindful about children and feelings, and they don't tolerate bullying, there is
Mhm.
bullying happening every now and
Yeah,
then. And
exactly.
it's just
Yeah, that.
heartbreaking. It
Yep.
is heartbreaking. So
It is.
finding good friends for him,
Hmm.
and helping him maintain just a few friends in a really
Hmm.
great circle of relationships. That's what we've been trying to do.
Awesome. And yeah, that can be very challenging. Um, I going back a little bit. I also had a one-on-one aide with me throughout school that really helped a lot, and I think it's very needed, you know. And then, but yeah, unfortunately, there's always going to be bullies out there. But just remind your son that it's not him; it's actually them. They've got a problem with themselves, not a problem with him. That's what I learned over the years. It's like just be the bigger person and just brush it off, and you know, eventually they get bored of you and they move on.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
great advice.
and as far as friends go, like when I was in school, I tried to just get along with everyone. Just
Hmm.
be kind to everyone, and you know, find something like that makes you unique that people like. That's kind of what I did. I had a unique sense of humor. Um, I don't know if it was the healthiest for me, but like I didn't like getting bullied, and so what I did is I would just make fun of myself before anybody else had the chance, and I think that actually helped a lot because it kept the bullies away, and actually I think it helped me gain friends because I was different. I was funny. That wasn't something anybody had ever seen. Like, yes, I have a disability. It's, you know, you can definitely see that I'm different. But I was the one to, make jokes about it and make people laugh. And I think that's what kind of helped me get through school. But as far as like a mental health side, it might not be the best because you are kind of talking negative about yourself. But as long as you keep it jokingly, I think it's okay. It helps. But there's a good and a bad out of everything we do. So just kind of one of those things, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, definitely. Self-deprecation is what they call
Yep.
it, right? And a
Yep.
lot of
There you go.
comedians will use that and stuff. It's
Hmm.
it's a very good strategy,
Yeah.
I think. To
Everybody. For me, it worked. So, but
Yeah,
not gonna say it's gonna
absolutely.
work for everyone. But for me, it worked. But I have a lot of friends. Everybody knows who I am. So it it worked. It
Well, you're
worked.
an amazing human being.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're doing great
Yeah.
things with your podcast. So
That's that's the goal. Help as many people as I can. So yeah. So can you tell us more about what you do?
So I do speech therapy in the hospital with adults 2 days a week, and the rest of my week I do early intervention speech therapy and some school age speech therapy with
Okay.
children. And
Mhm.
I've really found a passion in parent training, like training
Mhm.
educators, training parents, because I saw this large number of children who needed speech therapy or
Mhm.
received speech therapy, but maybe didn't really need it if their parents were trained a little bit better early on.
Yep.
And a lot of the like clients I have, their parents, they use the strategies I teach them, and they're like, "Wow, I didn't know that I needed to do X, Y, and Z with my child. I didn't know how
Mhm.
important it was to interact with my child." They thought,
Mhm.
caregiving, feeding, changing their clothes was kind of not, was enough in a sense, and they didn't know that there was so
Yeah.
much connection that needed to happen, so much
Mhm.
modeling and repetition and just back and forth play that
Mhm.
it's really it's really important to get that word out there, and hopefully I'll create a greater impact. And that's like my
Mhm.
superpower is to reach out to other parents and caregivers, educators, other new speech therapists, to just help them decrease the number of kids who are late talkers who
Yep.
don't have to be.
That's amazing. I love what you do, and I went through speech therapy as a kid for many years. And so, do you deal with a lot of people that stutter?
Not as many as you would think. I've only had a handful of kids that
Hmm.
stutter, because there
Okay.
is a percentage of children who will stutter for just a little bit of time, right?
Hmm.
It's a
Yep.
developmental stutter, and then it will kind of just
Yeah.
go away in a sense.
Hmm.
Um, but for true, and sometimes for people who have a very true stutter, sometimes they don't want to correct it, right? So it really becomes
Yep.
are they motivated to change or to correct it, or do they just want to continue stuttering, and that's fine.
Hmm.
My college classmate, her brother had a very pronounced stutter, but he
Hmm.
didn't care, and it didn't take away from his personality. It didn't take away from his
Yep.
ability to communicate. It was just a
Hmm.
part of him, and it was,
Hmm.
you know, something that
Yep.
people knew about him, and it was okay.
Yep. So I gotta tell a quick story. So my uncle, when I was little, I started to stutter, and he stuttered, and he was just upset with himself because he thought that he taught me how to stutter, and my mom's like, no, 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 you can't. Yeah, it's not because of you. Nick just developed a stutter, So, but he thought it was something he did, and he was just all upset about it. But it's like, no, no, that's not how it works. But yeah, that's something that I've dealt with my whole life.
Mm.
And it wasn't until last year that I really figured out how to reduce the amount that I stutter significantly. And one of my tricks that I do is, I've been, there we go again, stuttering my whole life. So, when I get excited or nervous or anything, it gets worse. And, but one thing that I figured out, and it's because I know what words I usually stutter on, you know, and so now when I know that I'm coming up to one of those words, right before that word, I go ah, and doing that ah just kind of helps flow into that word. I don't know if it will work for everyone, but for me, it's worked great. I figured that out last year, and now I stutter a lot less. But I think the thing that helped me more than anything is the amount that I talk nowadays versus
Mhm.
before. Now I'm talking to people all day long. I'm creating Facebook posts, video content every day. So I think just me talking more helps me not stutter.
Possibly. That's a great
Hmm.
theory about that. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I've experienced the last year because I used to stutter way more than I do now. So
Yeah.
it's
And I
incredible.
think also like the awareness, you already have the awareness that you stutter, and you have
Yep.
the motivation to not stutter, and
Hmm.
you're aware that self awareness of when you do stutter is really important, because you can,
Yep.
by saying that it's like you're almost slowing yourself down before you say the word that
Exactly.
you would normally stutter on.
Yep. Exactly. And another thing that I think helps is the more confident you are in yourself, I think the less you stutter. Because like I said, like if I got nervous, I
Hmm.
would not be able to get a word out. And now it's just like I can basically work through anything and get it out. And yeah, I still have my moments where it'll be a good 3 seconds stuttered before I get my word out, but that's okay, you know.
Oh, it's acceptable. Totally fine.
Yeah. So as far as speech therapy, what is like the main thing that you focus on?
For me, so the title of my book is "Play Dumb and Sabotage." So I like to make one of the things I like to do is make kids think that they're smarter than me.
Mm-hmm.
So, like today, I was working with some kids this morning, and one of
Mm-hmm.
the kids pulled an elephant out of a box. We had these toys, little toys. And I said, "What'd you
Mm-hmm.
get?" And he didn't answer me. I said, "Oh, did you get a giraffe?" And he looked at me like, "What?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Elephant." I was like, "Oh." So kids really like when you play dumb,
Yeah.
or when you. One of the big things about playing dumb, the definition I give is that we over anticipate a lot of times what a child might need or want. So by playing
Mm-hmm.
dumb, we mindfully under anticipate what they
Mm-hmm.
need. So a child might, they want a certain toy. You might have
Mm-hmm.
it in sight but out of reach.
Mm-hmm.
You might,
Yep.
during snack time, maybe just give them one or two pieces of snack rather than everything.
Mm-hmm.
During drinking, it might give them a little bit of juice or milk rather than the whole cup.
Mm-hmm.
And then also sabotaging is not the destructive, normal definition we think of, but
Yeah.
it's just practicing, creating opportunities to practice language. So
I love
by,
that.
yeah, so by giving them just a little bit of snack, they can practice either signing for more or saying more or I
Mm-hmm.
want more snack or snack please,
Mm-hmm.
just something simple. And it is about
Mm-hmm.
repetition, right? The more, just like when you're
Mm-hmm.
stuttering or when you're
Mm-hmm.
working on decreasing your stuttering, you're practicing speech more and more. And the more
Yeah.
that we practice the language, the more that they understand, the more they can express, and the longer their utterances will be. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
It's no different than working out to gain muscle.
yeah,
Yeah, keep the repetition going. Keep working that muscle, and the more you work it, the better it gets.
yeah, absolutely. One of the
Mm-hmm.
biggest things I like to tell parents and just teachers, educators in general is never ask a yes no question unless
Mm-hmm.
you're ready to honor that no. Because oftentimes we see, teachers and parents say, "Are you ready to do this? Are you ready to clean up? Are you ready to, are you ready to have lunch or whatever it is? Or
Mm-hmm.
can you say this? Or can you do this?" Right? And if the kid says no, then you got to honor that no, right?
Yeah,
So what
exactly.
do we do instead? Is we offer choices. So for
Mm-hmm.
like my son, I'm always like an example would be like, okay, so what do you want to do first? Brush your teeth or change into pajamas? Or
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I might offer him, okay, we have to cut your nails. Do you want to cut them today or tomorrow? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I
I
might
like
say,
that.
oh, we're almost done cleaning up. Do you want to play for 3 minutes more or 5 minutes more?
And I feel like kids are going to respond a lot better to whatever you're asking them because they have a choice.
Yeah,
So they feel like they got power to do what they want,
exactly.
and I think that helps as a parent a lot that you give them a choice, and then whatever you want them to do, they're actually going to do it a lot easier than, if they just say no, well then you gotta, try to, fight them to get them to do it,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's not fun. Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, I love that. That's incredible. And now you got me thinking like when I'm around children, it's like I gotta pay attention to the way I ask a question.
Yeah.
That's really important. I like that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, yours is incredible. And um, where can people find your book?
Well, they can go to my website. It's www.playdumbandsabotage.com.
Okay.
The book is available on Amazon, but there is a link on my website.
Awesome. Awesome. And then do you have social media that you would like people to follow you on?
Yes, please. I'm on Instagram. It's at Play Dumb and Sabotage.
Awesome. Awesome. So I will put all of your links in the show notes so everybody can find you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nick.
Yeah. And then I got one more question for you.
Yes.
So my slogan is your abilities are infinite. What does that mean to you?
that you can do anything that you can imagine.
I love it. Exactly. Exactly. Love it. All right. Thank you so much. This was incredible. If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me in the Nicky Heart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth and help more people. Alright, everyone, remember, your abilities are infinite.